Masantos siya kapusan at sige namin, limbag nga bigat tayo amin apo, magandang Friday morning Pilipinas. Nani Agsalud Braganza po, former Secretary President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo's administration.
Good morning. Ako naman po si Atty. Gutierrez, ang tagapagsalita ni dating Vice Presidente Leni Robredo. At kami ang The Spokes.
From the Palace Halls and the OVP then to our group chats now.
We'll give you perspectives from an insider's position standing behind the podium.
Noted by the Spokes. Pwede ba bago tayo magseryoso? Let me first congratulate Alex Iyala
Oo naman!
for beating joint.
Maya Joint.
Via joint.
Yan.
Ano sabi mo kanina?
Ang headline na nakita ko kanina, ang ganda eh.
Ano?
Ayala smokes joint.
Wow!
Blazes into round 3. Galing, di ba?
Alos. Okay. Anyway, Iglesia ni Cristo has ended, again, congratulations. Iglesia ni Cristo has ended its 3-day rally claiming that its message has been delivered.
Alam mo ba na nung Tuesday, hindi ako umabot sa The Spokes dahil na traffic ako.
Na-traffic ka.
Kasi di ba yun yung simula nung kanilang surprise rally eh.
Ang tawag doon, lightning rally.
Ang lightning rally, boss, mabilisan, di ba? Yung 5 minutes lang. Umaalis ka na bago ka dumating
Naalala
yung
ko
mga
dati,
pulis.
nung
Pero
nagla-lightning rally kami at kayo, marami na yung 50.
Pero yun nga ang lightning rally, kaya siya lightning. 5 minutes lang, di ba? Bago
Yes.
dumating ang pulis, nakaalis na kayo.
Kasi ano ba sinusulat yun sa pader? Bakit 5 minutes lang? Well, anyway, ganito lang.
Nagkakahalataan tayo dito.
Ito akin lang, regardless of who is doing the rally, mapa-iglesia, mapa-katoliko, mapa-kristyano, mga kapatid nating Muslim, iisa ang common denominator dyan. Pilipino rin yung mga yan. Yun lang ang akin dito. Filipino
Ako,
lang.
agree naman ako. Tingin ko naman may karapatan sila na magpahayag ng kanilang posisyon sa
Yes.
anumang issue.
As Filipinos.
As Filipinos.
Yes.
Kahit na hindi tayo sumasang-ayon dun sa... Ako,
Posisyon
personally,
nila.
tingin ko.
Oo nga.
Pero, ang punto ko lang, sana man lang, sumunod naman doon sa yung mga requirements. Kasi, ito iba
Alam mo,
na ngayon ang panahon pagdating sa traffic, boss.
Pag narinig ko sa iyo, parang hindi tayo pasaway noon.
Oo, boss, pero ngayon iba na traffic, iba na sitwasyon sa traffic eh. Tingnan mo, ang grabe yung yung abalang na idulot. Kung tumingin ka sa social media, ang tindi kaya ng galit. Ang nangyari tuloy, nakalimutan na o hindi napansin yung mensahe dahil ang naging focus.
Totoo rin naman. Pero, sa mga nagrarally sa kalye kasi, part of the objective, and we both know
Disruption.
this.
Tama naman.
Disruption, protest nga di ba? To get the attention of government and generally the people who are at this, sa panahong ito, medyo affected nga. But we used to do that. But again, more than that is, ang sinasabi ata nila, dahil nga ron sa posibleng huliin o kasuhan.
In-announce kasi ni
si Senator
Ombudsman
Marcoleta.
di ba? Ni Ombudsman Boying.
Yeah.
Nakakasuhan na daw this week
Yeah.
si Senator Marcoleta. Sinabi naman nila na yun ang kanilang objective.
At pangalawa ata sinasabi, I saw some placards, no? Hindi na ako nakarinig ng mga speeches. I saw some placards sinasabing, everyone should be accountable. Lahat ng involved sa corruption.
Totoo naman. Ako, sangayon ako doon.
That's also a common issue. Kaya I don't look at it as a right because they are a religion, but rather as Filipinos, it is also the right to protest.
Tama naman yan.
Kung meron naman silang dapat
Ako
hinaing.
lang, lagay lang sana sa lugar. Kasi nandun na nga tayo sa punto na sa tingin ko, maski yung mga nag-arally, kailangan ka nang gumawa ng kalkulasyon. Ano ba, between making yung message known. Diba? Kailangan may konting gulo. Doon naman sa sobra kang makakagulo na negative naman ang dating.
Alam mo, naalala ko lang nung panahon ng martial law, high school ka pa lang.
Wala pa ako nun.
Wala ka pa doon.
Ano ko ba naman?
Nagrarally na kami. Alam mo, yung pag-okupa ng buong kalsada depends on the number of rallyists. Kung manipis lang kayo, huwag na kayong mag-attempt. Kasi mas maraming pulis eh. Di ba? Pero kung lumalaki yung rally nyo, medyo tumatapang kayo, tapos you occupy both lanes of the street. Naalala ko nga yung ₱1,000,000 march eh. Humarang yung mga Navy. tabi-tabi, dadaan kami. Tumabi yung mga Navy. Because it was almost 1 million people rally.
Pag madami na talaga.
And at that time, no one was complaining. Why all of a sudden, itong mga kapatid nating INC, regardless of their religion, maraming umaangal. Because probably it was done in EDSA. And EDSA is a symbol for anti-corruption kasi.
Pero 2015, ginawa din nila ito
Yes.
kung nani. At
Yes.
madami din, ang naalala ko din, ang reaksyon ng madaming tao noon, nainis kasi nga, abala.
Oo nga,
Yun yun
but we also did this in EDSA 1 and EDSA 2. Wala namang umaangal.
Siyempre, paano ka nga angal noon nabumagsak ang gobyerno ng EDSA 1
No,
and
but
EDSA 2.
even before that, it was a series of rallies and activities na ginagawa ng taong bayan. Probably the only difference is this. Pag nagrally ka noon against a particular issue or against a particular person, as the days go by, lumalaki yung rally. Ito napansin ko lang parang hindi ganon ka-agresibo yung pagdalo ng mga tao. Although they're there, their presence is there, that's a given. Unlike noon na talagang yung sumasama sa rally, talagang committed to a particular cause.
Medyo feeling ko nga, nag-under-deliver. Di ba? Na-expect ng madaming tao. Talagang, kasi yung last time na nag-rally ang iglesia sa Luneta, di ba? Sa harap ng Quirino. Maabot sila ng 200, 400,000. Dami. Ito, 15 nung first day, second day, ang laki na ng binaba. 5?
Kung ako yung gobyerno, hindi ko hahamunin tong organisasyon na to. They can easily mobilize 1 million Filipinos as members, scattered all over the country. Pangalawa, let's also congratulate the police officers for not dispersing the rally and for
Tsaka
putting...
na-maintain nila yung public order. Hindi nakagulo.
May mga hinuli nga wala namang... Unlike your
At
regular...
yung boss na hinarang, nataw nila. Tingin ko, magandang
magandang sinyalis
development
yun. Kasi marunong din yung gobyerno na ang nilagay nila doon, kapatid nila. So, nagkapakiusapan. Dati tayo, mahirap kausapin nung panahon natin.
Iba tayo
Iba tayo di ba?
Okay.
Kausapin mo kami, no way, highway.
Also, noted by the spokes, the Sandigan Bayan has archived the graft case against former Congressman Zaldico after the court failed to serve his warrant of arrest.
Sineryoso ba nila na file ng warrant to? O mas magandang nasa France na lang siya, enjoying luxury?
A few months ago, naalala ko, may nagsabi na government official na mahuhuli na daw Di ba?
From the highest.
Di ba?
Di ba? In fact, noong December, nangako sila dahil mahuhuli Di ba?
Well, hindi naman kagulat-gulat dahil mukhang missing in action sa kasalukuyan.
I think they know where he is.
Pero ang problema, pwede mo bang makuha?
Sa France, di ba? So, may nagsabi nga na if you forcibly arrest Zaldico there, it's tantamount to kidnapping under their laws.
Nagkaroon na ba ng resolution kung talagang meron siyang Portuguese passport o Portuguese citizenship?
Tanong mo yung mga kakampi mo sa gobyerno.
Wala kong kakampi sa gobyerno, boss.
Di ba? Kasi ang alam ko, simple lang Yung mga mayayaman na nagtatago sa labas, kung desidido ang gobyerno huhuliin nila.
Pero,
in this particular case, kasi, ito, tanong ko sa'yo, do you think this government is better off with Zaldico in the Philippines or outside of the Philippines?
well, hindi ko alam sa gobyerno. Pero ako, personally, tingin ko, ang taong bayan would be better off kung nandito si Zaldico. Para
Okay,
siya
because-
ma-prosecute at siya ay makapagsalita.
At masabi na niya yung ano totoo
Exactly.
nangyari. So, hindi
Yun.
matutuwa yung mga nakaupo sa gobyerno
Well,
ngayon.
hindi matutuwa yung mga masasangkot.
Masasangkot. Okay. Pero yung kaibigan natin, hindi naman ata sangkot to Yung guest natin mamaya. Hindi. Hanggang pa pogi ito, pero pogi naman talaga kasi. Di ba?
Pero, paano natin may ensure ba yung mga ganyan? Lalo na kasi mukhang common na yan Madaming tumatakas. Hindi lang si Zaldico yan Yung aking kaibigan si Harry Roque, wanted din yata. Meron
Boss mo siya dati, di ba?
Hindi ko boss yun. Sabay kami pumasok sa faculty ng
Mas senior siya? Sabay.
Sabay ka. Nauna siya ng mga 2 buwan. Pero sa edad, di hamak naman sa tanda sa akin si Harry Roque.
Tsaka mas pogi ka doon.
Salamat.
Dapat na.
Talagang pinolo mo akong hakama-hakama.
Hindi. Sabi mo kasi, Iyala smokes joint Parang ka naka-joint Naka-jutes. Anyway. And then, itong high-profile cases kasi, nakakatulong ito o nakakasama ito sa kredibilidad ng gobyerno.
Tama naman.
So, look, let's put it fairly. The President, yung last survey is at -15. Patong-patong na problema to. Di ba? So, the more the President announces something and nothing happens, problema yon.
Tama yun. Dapat talaga mag-deliver, lalo na dito sa flood control.
Sa flood control
scandal.
issue, sa issue ng inflation, pagtaas ng presyo ng mga bilihin. By the way, the President is now in Canada on the invitation of Prime Minister Carrie. So, ingat po, Pangulong Marcos.
Okay. These are the headlines noted by the spokes today. We'll have the spokes for the House Prosecution team in the impeachment trial of VP Sara Duterte when we return after the short break.
The spokes is back with only 3 days to go before another historic event takes place. The House Prosecution Panel says it is ready to present its case on the VP Sara impeachment.
Joining us is the spokesperson of the House Prosecution Panel, representative of the 1st District of Lanao del Sur, Congressman Zia Alonto Adiong. Welcome back to the spokes.
Yeah, thank you po. Manong Nani and Manong...
Tito na lang.
Tito na lang.
Ito.
Manong Dari.
Alam nyo, si Kong Zia, the father was my colleague in the
Yes,
House.
that's correct.
Magaling mag-decision yung simple, pero very... Sa grooming magaling.
Yung kapatid din niya, kasama ko naman sa house.
Si Gob.
Kaya safe ako dito. Mukhang safe ako dito.
Siguro. Baka kaibigan din natin yan. Ang tanong ko lang, may kwento kasi na yung father nyo raw is known as the Manuel Quezon of Lanao. Bakit?
Mahilig, nakita ko niyo mo pa pumada niya, no? Pag tinitingnan namin yung 20 pesos na bill, parang kamukha to ni ni Daddy, di ba? Kasi yung
Ganun,
pumada niya, tsaka the way he described it, ganun talaga yung niya, forma niya. Parang Manuel Quezon yung ganda ng niya
Your family is a well-known, powerful clan in Lanao. Okay. And you are very active in the prosecution panel. Will that impact on your family's political future?
Well, I would not deny na coming from Mindanao, talagang meron talagang some sort of backlash, no?
Yeah.
But the issue there is yung where they're coming from really is about not having the access for full information and accurate information.
Okay. Yeah.
Kaya sa palagay ko, itong impeachment trial na to, ang magsasalita dito ang ebidensya. Pag nakita yan ng taong bayan, yung katotohanan, paniwala ko, yung backlash na sinasabi politically, huhupa yan.
Do you have enough evidences against the Vice President?
We have
Witnesses, documentary, financial records, digital communications? Do you have those
We have
as part of the evidences ng mga articles of impeachment?
Yeah, we have, kasi matagal na po natin pinag-usapan ito, isang taon na ho di ba?
Oo nga. Last year pa.
Yes.
Last year, ang
Yes.
taong bayan, ang issue ngayon ng taong bayan is hindi na yung hindi na yung constitutional duty kasi paniwala na sila constitutional duty. Ang sa
Totoo
taong
naman.
bayan, allow the evidence to be evaluated by the senators and let this process end as it should be.
I assume, Kong Zia, nakita mo na yung pinaka-broad overviews ng iba't ibang articles sa ebidensya. So, in your opinion, ano yung tingin mong pinaka-solid dito, pinaka-slam dunk when it comes to yung articles of impeachment?
Lahat naman talaga para sa amin, solid yung evidence. Pero the way, I think, yung madaling intindihin ng taong bayan is yung grave threat.
Okay.
Kasi sa kultura natin, hindi inaalaw o hindi natin tinotolerate yung bigla ka na lang magbabanta sa kapwa-tao, di ba? I mean, culturally.
Is that an impeachable offense?
Alin yung?
Yung grave threat ba? I'm not a lawyer,
Okay,
so I'm asking Attorney Barry. Is that an impeachable offense?
Well, it can be betrayal of public
public
trust.
Okay. That's the bigger picture.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Kasi ang paniwala po namin, having been elected to the second highest position in the land, sumumpa ka naman talaga that you will uphold the Constitution.
Yes.
Yes.
You will, uphold the Constitution, and I'm paraphrasing, without mental reservation or purpose of evasion. Alam naman natin sa Constitution, merong constitutional, clause dyan na public office is a public trust, that's a constitutional directive, promoting and upholding the rule of law. So how can you promote the rule of law if you try to put justice into your own hands?
Filipinos are not new animals sa mga impeachment hearings, impeachment cases, impeachment trials. Kasi sabi ko nga, tuwing may bagong administrasyon dito, may pinapa-impeach. O may nai-impeach.
Simula nung panahon ni President Erap, yun ang simula.
Yes, di ba? So, in other words, ano ang gaano katagal tong impeachment trial na to? At saka, ano ang inaasahan ng tao na makikita sa araw-araw na may trial?
Well, ang unang-una inaasahan ng tao matapos na to. No? Whether kung anong maging resolution ng Senado, ang importante ay makita ng tao ng ebidensya. So sa amin naman, 4 yung artikulo for articles of impeachment. Makakasigurado po sila na yung ebidensya, yung testimonya ng mga witness ay ready po may presenta ito. Kasi unang-una, apart from yung accountability mechanism, sinasabi po natin, I think ang taong bayan, deserve talaga nila makita yung totoo. Dahil, of course, the Vice President has been saying she has gathered 33,000. These are 33 million no voters. These are 33 individuals who trusted you with that office.
Question lang. Let me cut you short. No? During the pre-trial, was there an agreement kung gaano katagal itong hearing na to and the number of witnesses that will be presented? Because that will determine the timetable. Ang nasa report kasi about 92.
Yeah,
Total calendar days.
Ilan yung sa inyo doon? Ilan yung doon
Sa
defense?
prosecution po is 62 days. That's 62 trial days.
Okay.
Prosecution. Sa defense is nasa 30, no?
So 92.
Yeah, isi-simplify po, 'di ba? That's the purpose of na having the pre-trial conference, to simplify the order by which the articles will be presented. At the same time, kung ano yung mga dapat na pag-usapan sa korte. So, babalikan ko lang po, Manong Nani, kasi I think you're asking how important is this.
Yeah.
Yung sinasabi po nilang 33 million na boto. I mean, it's actually also their obligation, because the 33 million elected her to that office and trusted her that she will promote accountability, that she would promote transparency, that she would use the influence of her office to uphold the rule of law, that she would treat the office as a public trust. So, dapat mag-explain. The more reason for her to explain to the 33 million who trusted her with that office. So, yun po yung purpose talaga ng impeachment.
Question lang, Kong Zia. When I asked about evidentiary documents, witnesses, digital communication, financial records, all of these were also present doon sa final na impeachment against President Marcos. And yet, Congress dismissed it. At itong kay VP Sara proceeded, di ba? And it's now in the Senate. So in other words, impeachment process are also very political in nature. Dahil maraming kaalyado si Pangulong Marcos sa Kongreso, dismiss yung kaso. Eh dito, overwhelming ang boto ng congressman. Doon sa impeachment ni VP Sara.
Well, unang-una po, Manong Nani, because these are 2 separate complaints. No? Pag separate complaints, separate facts, and you also expect separate resolution that the committee can resolve and would arrive to. Unang-una, yung kay President Marcos, wala ko talagang clear-cut na evidence, and to link the President having to directly, instruct.
Okay.
For example, yung agency na yun, to insert all this insertion sa SAGAA. Kasi ang alam, nag-anong po natin ito. It passed through different stages.
Yeah.
First is yung submission ng NEP.
Yeah.
So that's a recommendatory in nature. It's the House of Representatives and the legislature, for that matter, na mayroon talagang exercising the oversight function. Kaya nga tayo mga district congressman, kasi minsan may nakikita tayo doon sa NEP na hindi reflective doon sa pangangailangan nating community. That's why we propose some adjustments. Yes, last day. So may bicameral. So walang to bank all the blame on the president just because he is the architect of the country, he is the head of the government, doesn't hold water, because the process by which this the DNEP is approved into GAA is actually within the exclusive power of the House.
Look, I'm not blaming the president, but the process you're mentioning.
I mean the legislature, not only the House.
But the process you're mentioning, at the end of the day, after the budget has been passed, it is also signed by the president into law. But again, that is not the topic today.
Yes.
Di ba? That's another topic. So, in other words,
Kaya ako, ang next question ko is with regard to next week. Kasi the trial is starting July 6. mauuna kayo, di ba? Dahil obviously the
Prosecution.
prosecution
Yeah.
will present first. But do you anticipate that there will be moves by the defense here, for example, to move for dismissal of the case, like the defense did in the impeachment trial of former Chief Justice Corona? Do you expect them to object, for example, to the subpoenas that you will undoubtedly ask for certain pieces of evidence? Anong may expect ng mga tao sa first week ng trial?
Well, may preliminary remarks naman, diba? And then sa first day, that's when we will present not only the article but including the witnesses yung from the prosecution side.
What's the first article na ipipresent?
Our
sa
Article
schedule?
4, grave threat.
Okay.
Great.
So, we anticipate for any eventuality that might happen on the first day. Kasi pag first day, talagang big bang yan, di ba? Sa baka magkabiling panig because that's how you can actually set the tone for the trial. Kasi hindi lang Senado at saka mga senator judges ang nakatutok talaga sa mga ebidensya mo. Ang buong bayan ang nakatutok. So, we expect that there will be motions, legal maneuverings. Kasi ang paniwala po namin, since na yung mga rebuttal, specific na rebuttal to the allegations contained under the articles of impeachment ay hindi sufficiently answered during the pre-trial conference.
Question
That's
lang.
why we expect
Do you
more
expect-
motions in legal maneuverings.
Do you expect all the senators to attend the trial? Considering na medyo hindi
The Senate has been
Magulo yung
medyo magulo ng
Senado.
konti the past few weeks.
Well, ako naman personally, and this does not reflect the entire position of the House Prosecution team, but ako personally, I would really anticipate, and because I believe that the senators do understand also their constitutional duty, ako naniniwala ako pupunta pa rin sila. No? Kasi we're talking of a very serious allegation. No? So, sana pumunta sila, no? Sana nandun sila lahat.
Again, obviously, ang lead will be the House prosecutors. Kasi sila yung constitutionally charged to actually perform this function. But you also have a very, very deep bench of private prosecutors na involved. From the start ba, will they already be there assisting yung House prosecutors? Ano yung game plan nyo with respect to yung coordination between those two groups?
Yeah, well, actually, part dun sa request namin sa court kasi medyo nag-oppose ang defense. Sabi nila, isa lang daw from the public prosecutor yung mag-examine ng witness and also to probably examine yung mga documents. Our request sana is to have the prosecution team an option na magkaroon din ng way yung private prosecutor natin to examine the witness. Kasi may basis na tayo even during the corona impeachment. Talagang nakita nyo naman po mga private prosecutors na nandyan and they were also able to have the opportunity to also examine the witness. No?
In the last two impeachment
Exactly.
trials, the
So,
private
so-
prosecutors.
the role of the private prosecutors malaki kasi even during the time of the impeachment trial against President Estrada. Hindi lang natapos pero private prosecutors would even present evidences,
Yeah, and
cross-examine
witnesses, yes.
witnesses.
Parang inopose po yun ng defense. Ang sabi lang po is allow that because we already have that basis. No? We already have that precedent na nangyari. At the same time, it would also benefit not only the prosecution but the defense. We're not saying that our private prosecutor will be the one to examine the witness. What we're saying is to have that option and leave option for the prosecutor should there be any need for our private prosecutor to participate by examining or cross-examining.
Question lang.
witness.
Most of the government prosecutors from Congress are lawyers, obviously.
They're all lawyers.
I think so.
lawyers.
Yeah, all the 11
But
of
these
them.
are not practicing lawyers.
Some of them did practice.
Some of them,
Except
ibig
for a
sabihin,
few,
except for a few nung naging congressman. Yung defense kasi, mga batikang abogado to, na ang trabaho lang nito,
Mag-litigate.
defense,
Mag-litigate.
mag-litigate. So, ano ang ini-expect ng taong bayan pag nagsalpukan yung dalawa? Kasi, during the pre-trial hearing, may nagsasabi kasi o may nag-leak na news, na kinain daw.
Totoo ba yun?
Na mga private prosecutor.
Wala naman, hindi naman nakita naman I think even the secretary clerk of court also said na wala namang kainan dito during the pre-trial
Except
conference
turon daw,
kasi
turon.
oo, wala namang naging kainan kasi actually isi-simplify naman. Of course, you would expect both sides to contradict or to
Sa
not to
pre-trial,
accept.
it's marking of evidence.
Evidences lang, di ba?
Submission ng
Yeah.
witness lists. Mas ganun, di ba?
Kasi simplify mo lang. Pero going back po, Manong Nani, sa question mo kanina, I think it does not, dalawa yan even the trial. But kayo po mga lawyers, alam niyo po, even if you are that experienced lawyer, but if you do not have evidence to support either your claim or your counterclaim, at the end of the day, ebidensya magsasalita eh. So kami po sa House Prosecution Team, talagang confident kami with the evidence that we have. Kaya nga gusto namin mag-start ito at let the process continue. Kasi that's not only our constitutional duty as members of the House, but our civic duty as Filipinos to allow the people the access to know the truth because that is exactly their right. Malaman nilang katotohanan dahil at the end of the day, pera nila ito eh. Tiwala nila itong pinag-uusapan natin dito.
Yung side ni Vice President kasi, they have been saying all along, in the two impeachment processes na pinasa Congress, they have always been questioning the procedures.
Opo.
Itong huli kasi, wala nang duda rito, nagsalta na Supreme Court, tuloy-tuloy na to. But they have not really disputed. Sabi nila, o may nagsasabi, yung mga evidences that were presented against the Vice President. So, sa tingin nyo, ano yung pinakamabigat na ebidensya na hindi pa nadidispute ng Office of the Vice President or VP Sara?
All of them, Sec Nani, all of them. Because number one,
Name one.
okay, number one, confidential funds. Up to now, hindi nila na ibabalik. Kasi the COA said, you have to restitute the amount. And
Kasi naging final na yung disallowance.
Okay.
And they have not provided, not just the country, but even the COA, the one that manages and audits the funding by which it is being utilized. They have not sufficiently addressed the issue on why did they violate the joint circular. Bakit ang binigay nyo lang sa amin ay mga acknowledgement receipts na yung mga nakapirma pa, according sa mga forensic experts, ay mukhang iisa lang. And nagsabi pa ng PSA, mukhang wala naman taong ganito ang pangalan eh. Si Ms. Mary Grace Piatos.
Hindi ba mag-appear di ba pinatawag as a witness si Mary Grace Piatos?
That's the point. Kasi we want also, sabi ko nga, let the people know the truth. Kasi kailangan we have to stand with the process. We have to allow the process to continue. Including, for example, yung isip sa taong bayan, nasa isip ng taong bayan na, teka lang, meron ba talagang tao na Mary Grace na informant na binigyan ng confidential funds because she has probably provided the Vice President, the Office of the Vice President, the essential information for the office to actually, clean up the Department of Education from the possible entry of extremist ideology. Kasi yun ang po yung basis nila eh.
Question lang, Kong Zia. A lot of people are also saying na kaya hindi raw sumasagot si VP Sara or even the lawyers sa Congress because tapos na ang botohan doon. I'm just saying, I'm just stating a fact.
Yeah, okay.
Na wala rin naman mangyayari kahit anong sabihin nila. Yeah. So, that's one. Number two, could it also be a strategy on the part of the Vice President? Okay. Na kung mai-impeach na rin lang naman ako rito, I'll just wait for you in the Senate and address all the concerns you're stating.
It's more than just yung kanyang opinion. It's actually the people expecting her to respect the process. Bottom line is, she did not provide a reason, even for those members in the House who have not seen the evidence, who have not attended the confirmation hearings, who actually have, let's say for the sake of argument, have a neutral and independent way of approaching the issue. She did not provide them the reason to at least hear her side and then maybe balance the arguments and the counter evidence. She skipped the entire process. So she cannot fault if those members, mind you, Manong
yung mga
Nani,
bumoto.
during the last Congress, mas mataas yung boto.
Yeah.
Ngayong kongreso na ito.
Which I think surprised a lot of people.
Exactly.
Yes,
diba?
yes.
Even those who we perceive to be her ally, yung nagsasalita na, no, let's allow her to, maybe she is also right because
Kasi impeachment committee nga, zero.
bumoto sila ng
Diba?
approval.
Zero.
So it speaks about, number one, the members understand now the constitutional mandate. Number two, the people really wanting to know exactly what are these allegations and to allow the process to move forward. Number three is allowing the Vice President to exercise the due process which according to the Supreme Court ruling, kailangan i-comply ng House of Representatives. Kinumply po namin yun. In fact, pinalakpakan nila yung ruling ng Supreme Court nun eh.
Ang nakita ko lang,
na ready
Zia,
na sila
kasi ang
mag-answer ng
nakita ko
charges.
lang is, rather than respond to the committee, nagpe-press con.
Yes.
Yung mga
Sayang
abogado,
yung opportunity yun.
and they were disputing some of the facts. But this was not part of the regular process. Kaya sabi ko, baka mait-bulaga ka sa Senado lang. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Kasi you can never be confident sa hawak mo kung yung isa hindi pa sumasagot eh.
Pero sumagot na sila, di ba? Doon sa, they have an answer already.
Yes.
Yeah,
for the
yung
impeachment.
with ad cotelam.
Kaya dito sa Senate.
Sa Senate.
Ano,
di ba?
sa Senate? Oh, yeah.
Sa Senate, they
Sa Senate, they
already-
already, Kaya nga sinasabi namin, okay, yung sa press conference nila, sabi nila, we are ready to face the charges, we're ready to answer the question. Answering the question does not only take one to hold press conference. Answering the allegation is to provide specific counter-argument to rebut this allegation. That's what we're expecting.
That will happen in the actual trial.
But in the pre-trial brief po, wala ho talaga silang na ano. In fact, yung mga witnesses, kaya nga po request ho namin sa impeachment court is pwede ho bang direkta sila ang defense to specify the purpose by which the witnesses namin, they will also adopt this as common witness. Kasi unang-una, pag magpa-present po kami ng witness, they have the time to cross-examine the witness. So if they are presenting them as their witness, number one, would it be
This is in the pre-trial?
during the pre-trial conference?
You're talking about the pre-trial na may palitan
Yes,
in terms
yes.
of talk.
Hindi,
Kung sino lang yung witnesses.
Kung sino lang
Ano
witnesses.
yung, sino yung
Oo.
ebidensyang
yeah.
i-present.
They have the discretion naman, di ba? Option to present their witness.
Yeah.
But what we...
Okay. But anyway, we'll talk
yeah.
about that in more detail. But with an initial list of
Yan na.
147 witnesses submitted, and the Senate court pointing out 17 common witnesses between the defense and prosecution. Sa tingin ba nyo, gaano karami ang matitrim down sa list na to? But before you answer this, the spokes will return after this short break.
The spokes is back still with Kong Zia Adiong. Bago tayo pumunta sa ating mga hanging questions, may mga katanungan lang kasi from our live viewers. No? So ito galing from username Marshall. Baka lo naman ang apelyido nito. Bakit mo pinalitan si Kong Rene Ko as spokes ng House Prosecution Team?
Hindi po. Ang nangyari po dyan, decision ng prosecution, magkaroon ng mas marami na spokesperson dahil una po, yung emergence ng yung social media, may mga vloggers na, mga podcast. So we try to reach as wider audience as possible.
Okay.
So pare-pare naman kami ng trabaho.
Sorry, I don't even know that. Wala na si Rene? Kong
Hindi,
Rene?
nandun
pa rin.
In fact, si Congressman...
Kasi baka pinaltan ata eh. So hindi naman,
Hindi,
nagdagdag.
Nagdagdag.
Okay,
Si Congressman Ace Barbas po, yung kaibigan ng Spice Boys, nadagdag din
So
po.
currently, ilan ang official spokespersons with the prosecution?
Sa ngayon, si Congresswoman Rene, former Congressman Ace Barbers, at saka si...
Attorney Tolosa?
Yes, legal prosecutor.
Yeah,
Legal spokes,
okay.
Attorney Tolosa.
Okay. Also from username Marshall. Medyo matindi tong...
Si Marshall daw. Malakas dito to ah.
Martial
Martial
arts.
law. Martial arts. Okay.
Kailan pupunta ng Marawi si Attorney Levy Baligod at yung 18 ex-bodyguards para harapin ang kasong isinampa mo sa kanila?
Well, hindi ko alam. Kasi
kinasuhan mo pala sila.
Kaya ang court din na po ang mag-i-issue ng kung ito'y tatakbo, no? So hindi ho natin alam. Pero ang sa akin lang why I filed it in Marawi because I think my constituents deserves to know that their representative is not a group. Okay. The community that elected me to the office deserves to know the evidence that they will provide against me.
Question lang, you were a member before of the BARM, ano?
Yes.
Assembly? Yeah. Okay. Doon ko una narinig eh. Hindi man Congress BARM. Anyway, from Francis, sa palagay mo ba yung INC mag-rally ulit during the impeachment hearings?
May karapatan naman lahat tayo to peacefully assemble, no? Ang sa atin lang is these rallies are constitutionally guaranteed. Basta may mga restrictions din kasi hindi naman lahat It's absolute, no? So, tayo naman, nakikinig naman kung accountability pinag-uusapan. I think it's their right, no, to hold it. Not just the INC, but any sector. No? Nakikita naman
I'm
natin.
sure you would also like your supporters na maglalo rin doon in support of the prosecution team.
I'm sure meron din yan.
Meron din yan,
free country
di ba?
naman to, oo.
Ito kasi puro parang...
Pero kasi, pag pinag-uusapan kasi natin with the impeachment, hindi naman sa rally pag-uusapan ng ebidensya eh. Ang ebidensya, mapag-uusapan yan sa trial.
Yeah, but I do agree with that. But you know, during the time of the ERAP trial kasi, yung mass movement sa labas also shows yung actual parang strength of support.
Well,
Di ba? In a way, di ba? So, yun lang.
Okay.
So, in other words, balansihan lang to. Because this is a political act. Yun lang.
ito, matutuwa ako sa tanong na to. Galing kay username Bong Sanchez. Where po si Idol Lasherda? Wala siya sa the spokes the whole week.
Nasa ospital.
Bakit?
Mali ko, may kinikwento ko kanina, ba't di mo sabihin ngayon dito? Ikaw, dahil, di ba? Oo. Di ba?
Nandun siya sa podcast namin nung Wednesday.
Oo ka. Tapos nagpaalam ka sa podcast nyo.
Ako wala.
Wala, ikaw wala. Okay.
Okay.
Our hanging question with an initial list of 147 witnesses submitted. Sa tingin mo, gaano karami ang mababawas dito?
Well, makikita naman ata kung how the impeachment court will appreciate kung relevant ba talaga yung kanilang testimonya. So, it could be reduced. No? Again, may option din naman din ng prosecution to, for example, to end or terminate the proceeding. Kung po pwede naman din after 2 articles, these are all possibility. This can happen. But I can tell you po, Manong Nani, is that yung ipapresenta po namin as far as the House Prosecution is concerned, lahat po na nakalista dyan na mga witnesses, yung kanilang magiging testimony are indispensable to proving the specific evidence that we will present to the court.
Question lang, in terms of common witnesses, ano ang say ng impeachment court? Kung hindi ito, sinabit sa pre-trial to, di ba? Conference.
Yes.
At the end of the day, yung impeachment court, naalala ko lang kasi, yung sa kaso ni Pangulong Duterte, may judge nagsabi, parang ang dami niyong witnesses, paulit-ulit yung sinasabi, bawasan nyo. Is that similar to what we are going to see in the Senate, Attorney Barry?
The Senate, as a court, can always rule.
Okay.
Kasi kaya nga meron kang pre-trial briefing sasubmit eh. So that the Senate can review to see, baka meron naman dito, hindi na kailangan dahil na-establish na yung fact. But at the end of the day, it's going to be an interaction between the court itself tsaka yung mga parties. Kasi the parties can explain. Sabihin nila, maaaring sa pagkakatingin nyo, hindi na kailangan to, pero tingin namin, meron na idadagdag yan. So may crucial yan na testimony that we need to hear. So that's going to be an interaction.
The other question is, will both parties present witnesses outside of what was submitted already?
Alam ko po, walang dapat surprise witnesses. Nasa direktiba po ng korte yan. Mayroon lang pong option ang both panels to have a reserved witness. Pero before presenting the witness, yung reserved witness, kasi una, o pwedeng hindi pa available sa time na yun. Hindi lang yung tao, but even the documentary evidence, no? Hindi pa available nung oras na yun. So, ipapa-inform lang, sasabihin namin sa korte na meron kaming reserve na mga witness na with this general description. Pero hindi po inaalaw ng korte yung magkagulatan lang na biglang ipapresenta mo tapos walang alam din ng defense, di ba? So, wala rin silang pagkakataon to cross-examine.
May mga nagsasabi kasi, because you have prosecution, you have access to people, you have access to information. Because you're on the side of government, technically speaking, but on the side of VP Sara, despite the fact that she's still in government, she's with the defense. Kaya may nabasa akong article that she will be given leeway. O yung defense, even in court ata, di ba? Yung na magkaroon ng mga witnesses na baka sorpresa, or she will have a hard time getting documents, may nagbigay. Or the worst case is may testigo kayo, ito sinabi, nadukutan ng baraha at tumambling.
Pero ang sa akin lang po, no, if the counter rebuttal allegation, the counter evidence of the defense would really prove her innocence, it will not be problematic for them to get the evidence.
Okay.
So yun lang, kung talagang inosente siya, madaling hindi niya siniskip yung proseso. Kung talagang inosente ka, mas madali sa iyo at mas wini-welcome mo yung ganitong opportunity. hindi na problema para sa iyo or magiging problematic or difficult for you to present the evidence, your counter evidence, to prove that indeed I am really innocent. Pero the way she...
Don't get this wrongly.
Yeah.
You know, VP Sara is the first sitting Vice President to be impeached. At katandem ni Pangulong Marcos. So a lot of people are saying na may kinalaman ang Pangulo sa impeachment na to. And she's being given a hard time. Kaya ito pinag-uusapan to sa labas. Hindi ko iniimbento to. Hindi ako mag-imbento ng gano'n.
Dahil mo talagang mga kausap sa labas.
Di ba? Lalo yung Edwin Lacerda. Kausap ko lang sa telepono. So, in that sense, di ba?
Yeah. Well,
so, hindi magiging madali para sa kanya kumuha ng ebidensya.
Pero, yes, but let me also add to my explanation. Well, the burden of proof lies on the prosecution.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, the prosecution will do everything it can to really provide the court the evidence that they need para magkaroon ng magandang sound judgment ng korte. So, expect mo talaga na mas maraming ebidensya. Kasi yun ang sinasabi ng ating batas eh. The burden of proof lies with the prosecution, the one charging the person. So, yung issue naman po about the president, very clear naman po eh. Kasi the one who filed the complaint are not necessarily supporters of this current administration. If you look at the
Civil society.
civil society organization, hindi ho sila connect with the president. So I don't see any. Well, they can put it in that lens because we're talking of partisan politics here. But kaya nga sinasabi namin, let's proceed with the trial. Let's proceed with impeachment para makita nyo na this is not really a partisan because unang-una, hindi partisan ng COA. COA does not actually interfere with political partisanship. COA liquidates the funds that are utilized. Maski sino ka pa dyan, maski kakampi ka pa dyan, maski hindi ka kakampi, talagang isasubmit nila yung report nila. So all of these things, mabuti na lang, Manong Nani, you brought that, kasi all of these things is really about strengthening our integrity of the office, integrity of the institution, and as well as the integrity of the process. So yun lang po.
Ito, moving on to a separate point. Nagkaroon ng mga conversation sa Senate the past few weeks about the possibility na hindi yung Senate President ang magpipreside. Diba? They changed the rules.
Yeah.
So, kayo personally, do you have a preference between Senate President Win Gatchalian or possibly Senator Chis Escudero as the presiding
Tignan
officer?
nga natin kung kaya niya sagutin to. Joke lang.
Ako naman we always comply, no? Even if you say that this is already a cliche, but we always defer to the wisdom of the court, no? That's expected of us. Pero yung kung sino yung mauupo diyan, again, kung ano po yung mas para sa amin, kung mas mapapatakbo ng mas maayos, kasi I'm sure that senators will also decide on that consideration na kailangan mas mapabilis. Siyempre sa atin lahat, tayo nga lang po ang non-lawyer dito, kaya nga po nagre-rely din tayo kay Manong Mari. Kasi
kung may nasabi tayo libelous dito, kasalanan niya.
Yeah, and then going back to the issue kanina na na-raise po ni Secretary Nani na would you expect, or say kay Manong Mari, would you expect legal motions that will be raised on the first day? So ako, in-expect ko talaga on the first day, we will be, the issue will be replete with legal jargons, motion, etc. So, kung sa palagay po ng Senado, it would run as smooth and effective and more effective for the people to understand. Should there be a lawyer as presiding officer? That depends on the court, but practicality.
So you're ready for either
practicality.
contingency.
In a regular court kasi, you cannot choose the judge.
You can move for the judge to be parang inhibit
just in case lang, di ba? Dito mukhang hindi naman eh. So si Senator Chis na ang presiding.
Well, hindi pa sure.
Hindi pa sure.
Parang na-float.
Okay.
Ito, medyo ibang usapan lang ng konti tough questions na daw tayo eh. So, first tough question na tatanong namin. If the House Prosecution Team are you confident of the impeachment case against VP Sara, then why do you need so many private prosecutors assisting you?
Well, unang-una, it's the private prosecutors who approach us.
So they
Yes,
volunteered?
they volunteered. Sila po. Kasi they understand that, this deserves to be, ang ebidensya, kailangan malaman. And we will help out for the people to understand. Kasi ang ebidensya, kailangan magsalita eh. Yan ang sinabi dun sa Constitution eh. Nobody actually, among us, nobody actually sa atin na tayo nang nagsabi kung anong gagawin sa unang sinabi ng Constitution. In framers ng Constitution, sinasabi, let the process. So I think as a officers of the court, being a lawyer, they understand na it's their civic duty na to help out.
Again, my question a while ago regarding yung mga private prosecutors kasi. For each article, may assigned prosecutor, may assigned din na private prosecutor to help each other. And that is allowed by law.
Yeah.
Di ba? Yun ang malinaw lang dito. Di ba? Another tough question. The Commission on Audit granted the OVP an unmodified opinion for calendar year 2025. What do you make of this improvement? What is a unmodified opinion?
Yan yung walang finlag ng mga mali o mga violations, basically.
So, ang sinasabi dito is...
Walang na-flag.
Wala kaming na-flag na parang mali.
Okay.
But that's a separate fiscal year.
Yeah. This is
So,
2025.
This is 2025. So, it's a good thing. Congratulations kasi hindi na-flag. Pero that does not condone the acts that were committed in the previous years.
Okay. Next tough question. How would you want people to remember the impeachment trial in history? When people read about this in years from now, anong gusto niyong maging prominenteng lesson o takeaway?
That the Constitution is alive and well and works for them.
Okay. Question lang, di ba yung coverage lang ng impeachment is during the time of VP lang siya?
Theoretically speaking, oo.
Kasi yun ang impeachable, yun ang position ng impeachable offense. But again, you are getting witnesses katulad ng sinuntok ni VP Sara na tapos nagsabi siya, huwag niyo na ako idamay sa politika niyo. But that's one witness that was
Potential,
suggested
it's a possible. Yeah.
na tumambling. Yun ang sinasabi ko kasi. So anyway,
You want my reaction po? That's a question?
hindi na. Sinagot mo na. When your term ends in Congress, do you see yourself going back to the Bangsamoro Parliament or secret election?
Well, it will not end naman talaga ang service ko sa community ko. My being here in the Congress is just part of my, your presentation at the same time my service to the Bangsamoro. It will always end up to going back there and serving my people.
Yeah.
Constituents.
Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
The Bilyonaryo News Channel expands its reach to more viewers in Central Luzon through CLTV 36. So starting Monday, July 6, mapapanood ninyo ang spokes tuwing 5 to 6 p.m. sa CLTV.
First, maraming salamat po sa may-ari ng CLTV, to the Laos family of San Fernando, Pampanga. Ganon din kay Miss Sonia Soto at sa kay Billy San Juan, who is now the COO. Sa mga CLTV viewers na taga-Bataan, Sambales, Pampanga, Tarlac, Nueva Ecija, Aurora, and of course, Pangasinan. Abangan nyo po araw-araw ang spokes bago mag-agenda. Nani ang Salud Braganza po, I say it the way I see it.
At ako naman po si Atty. Barry Gutierrez. And we are
The Spokes.